Chapter 10 of The Ship of Ishtar. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Ben Stewart. The Ship of Ishtar by Abraham Merritt. Chapter 10 Under the Lash of Zachel. Kenton awakened to the shrilling of a whistle. Something flicked his shoulder like the touch of a hot iron. He jerked his head up from the bed of his arms, looked stupidly at the chained wrists. Again the flick upon the shoulder, biting hotly into the flesh. "Up, slave," he heard a snarling voice say. A voice he knew and struggled with deep jugged mind to place. "Up! Stand to your oar!" Then another voice close behind him, whispering, hoarse, but with warmth of comradeship in it. "On your feet, ere his whip covers your back with the blood runes." He struggled upright, hands falling mechanically into two smooth, worn hollows in the wooden shaft to which he was chained. Standing thus upon the bench, his eyes looked out upon a tranquil, turquoise ocean, waveless, within a huge, inverted bowl of silver mists. In front of him were four men, two standing, two sitting, at shanks of great oars which, like that he clutched, thrust through the side of a ship. Beyond them sloped a black deck. Memory rushed upon him, banishing the last of sleep. The first voice had been that of Zachel, and the hot touches on his skin the bite of his whip. He turned his head. A score of other men, black and brown, sat and stood at other great sweeps, bending and rising, sending the ship of Ishtar cutting through the still blue sea. And there, on a platform at the mast step, was Zachel, grinning evilly. Out at Kenton flicked the long lash once more, this time drawing blood. "Look not back! Row!" snarled Zachel. "I will row," whispered the second voice. "Stand and sway with the oar till strength comes back to you." He looked down on a head fair-haired, long-haired, as any woman's, but there was nothing womanish in the face that was lifted for an instant to his. Ice-cold and ice-blue were the eyes in it, though thawed now by a rough kindliness. The skin was storm-beaten, tempest-tanned. From left temple to point of chin ran a deep red scar, written there by a sword. Nor was there aught womanish in the muscles that swelled on shoulders, back, and arms as he swung the great sweep, handling it as easily as a woman a broom. Norseman from tip to toe, a Viking straight out of some ancient saga, and like Kenton, a slave to the ship. The giant, who had been to sleep over the oar when Kenton's own chains had been locked upon him before that heavy slumber, whose coming he could not even now remember, had submerged him. "Sigurd, Thrig's son I," muttered the Norseman. "What Norn of ill luck set you upon this ship of warlocks? Speak low. Bend to your oar. The devil with the long lash has sharp ears." To the motion of the oar Kenton bent and rose, standing there on the bench, his chains rustling. The odd benumbment that had held his mind was passing, passed ever more swiftly as his tightened grip on the oar began to send the blood more swiftly through his veins. The rower beside him grunted approval. "No weakling you," he whispered. "The oar wearies, yet up it flows strength from the sea. But sip that strength slowly, grow strong slowly, then it may be that you and I together—" He paused, shot a weary side glance at Kenton, as though the thought had come to him that he were going too fast. "By your looks you are a man of the Airn, the southern isles," he whispered. "No grudge bear I against them. Viking, they met us always sword to sword and breast to breast. Many the blows we have struck between us, and the Valkyries hovering never went empty-handed back to Valhalla when we met the men of the Airn. Brave men, strong men, men who died shouting, kissing sword blade and spear point as gaily as a bride. Are you one of these?" Kenton thought swiftly. Cunningly must he shape his answer to bind this comradeship so plainly offered him, neither bewildered by whole truth, nor be so vague as to rouse suspicion. "Kenton, my name," he answered softly. My fathers were of the Aearn. Well knew they the Vikings and their ships, nor have they handed down to me any grudge against them. I would be friend of yours, Sigurd, Thrigg's son, since for how long neither of us know I must labor here beside you. And since you and I together—" He paused meaningly, as had the Viking. The Norseman nodded, and then shot the keen side-glance at him. "Not yet, man whose fathers were of the Aearn, have you told me how this bane fell upon you," he muttered. "Since they drove me aboard this ship at Isles of Sorcerers, no harbor have we entered. You were not here when they chained me to the oar, yet here are you. How?" "Sigurd, by Odin All-Father, I do not know." The Norseman's hand quivered at the name of his god. "An eye that I could not see looked upon me. A hand that I could not see plucked me out of my own land and set me here. That son of Hela who rules the Black Deck offered me freedom if I would do a thing of shame. I would not. I battled with his men. 3 I slew, and then they chained me to this oar." "You slew 3? The Viking looked up at Kenton, eyes blazing, teeth bared. "You slew 3! Skull, comrade, skull!" he shouted. Something like a flying serpent hissed by Kenton, hissed and struck the Norseman's back. It withdrew, blood spurting from where it had bitten. It struck and struck again. The whip of Zachel the overseer. His voice snarled through the hissing of the lash. "Dog, sow spittle, have you gone mad? Shall I flay you then?" Under the lash, the body of Sigurd, Thrigg's son, shuddered. From deep in his throat came a low, sobbing moaning. He looked up at Kenton, bloody froth on his lips. Suddenly Kenton knew that it was not from the pain of the blows that the Viking shuddered and sobbed, that it was from the shame of them, and from rage. That whiplash was drawing redder drops from the heart and the courage of him, threatening to break both. And Kenton, leaning over, thrust his own bare back between that lash and the bloody shoulders, took the blows himself. "Ha!" snarled Zachel. "You want them, do you? Jealous of my whip's kiss, are you? Well then, take your fill of them." Mercilessly the lash hissed and struck, hissed and struck. Kenton endured its bite stoically, never shifting the shield of his body from the Norseman, meeting each sharp agony by thought of what he would do to repay them when his time had come, when he had mastered the ship. Abruptly, the hailing blows ceased. "Stop!" Through pain-misted eyes he saw the drummer leaning over the pit. "Would you kill the slave, Zachel? By Nergal, if you do, I shall ask Klaneth as a gift to me to chain you to that oar for a while." Then Zachel sullenly, "Row, slave." Silently, half fainting, Kenton bent over the oar. The Norseman caught a hand, held it in iron grip. "Sigurd, Thrigg's son am I, Jarl's grandson, master of dragons." His voice was low, yet in it was a clanging like echo of distant, smiting swords. He spoke with eyes closed, as though he stood before some altar. "Blood brotherhood is there now between us, Kenton of the Aearn. Blood brothers, you and I. By the red runes upon your back, written there when you thrust it between me and the whip, by every drop of that blood are we brothers. And I shall be your shield as you have been mine. Our swords shall be as one sword. Your friend shall be my friend, and your enemy my enemy. And my life for yours when need be. This by Odin All-Father, and by all the Aesir I swear. I, Sigurd the Viking. And if ever I break faith with you, then may I lie under the poison of Hela's snakes until Yggdrasil the tree of life withers, and Ragnarok, the night of the gods, has come." End of chapter 10.